How's it going, everybody? Jay Lixin here. Day number 9 for the impeachment of our Vice President Sara Duterte. I honestly don't know what to tell you. I don't. Matibag is not a good witness at all for the prosecution. Given today, the defense did their cross-examination, so let's do that. Let's talk about that. So let's talk about kinetic energy. Ano tong kinetic energy na sinasabi nitong si Matibag? So itong kinetic energy, di umano, according to Matibag, is this ripple effect, if you want to call it that, after Sara gave the threat to Bongbong Marcos. So, for example, nagbigay ng threat si Sara kay BBM, sa First Lady, and kay Martin Romualdez. And so now, all the other people online are also giving out threats against BBM. Matibag was saying that because Sara made a threat against BBM, now all of the other Filipinos are encouraged by that threat to also make threats against the President of the Philippines. So basically, they're trying to blame Sara for the threats that they're seeing online from all of the other Filipinos that are saying, I want Bongbong Marcos dead, I want Bongbong Marcos's head. They're saying all of those threats is because of Sara Duterte. Pero naman, ano ba naman, Matibag, you're a lawyer of 29 years, he said. You should know that there's no such thing, or there's no law against kinetic energy when it comes to threats. There is no way that you could say Sara Duterte is the culprit of all these other threats that are coming from all of the other Filipinos. Because why? The Filipinos just hate Bongbong Marcos. Period. Okay? And I'm not saying that because I'm DDS. I'm saying that because that's what the survey says. The negative rating that he has speaks volume about how much the Filipinos hate BBM. So to say that this is just a kinetic energy coming from Sara's threat against Bongbong Marcos is stupid. How? I want to ask the same question to you as I did to Luistro yesterday. How did you become a lawyer of 29 years and then director of NBI and have that kind of brain in you to be using kinetic energy as an excuse to tie to Sara so you could impeach her? What law in this land do we have that says if the vice president gave a threat against the president or whoever, and all the other Filipinos also gave a threat to that person, then it's the vice president's fault? What? This is a desperate move. Desperate move. Also, during the entire proceeding, entire cross-examination, Attorney Binluan asked Matibag, okay? I don't even want to call him attorney. He doesn't seem like an attorney to me. But he asked, okay, so don't you believe that ang katotohanan ay hindi confidential? His response was, hindi po. Meron po tayong proseso. He's just contradicting what Jokno said just the other day when he was manifesting and saying, Your Honors, ang katotohanan po ay hindi confidential. When he was asking to open all of the accounts, right? Now, Binluan threw it back at him and said, do you believe na ang katotohanan ay hindi confidential? And he's like, oh, hindi po, hindi po. I am lawyer of 29 years. Hindi po. Meron po tayong proseso. It seems like the prosecution forgot to brief Matibag on what to say on the stands today. That's just a major fail. Now, the whole proceedings and the whole deliberation, Matibag kept saying, I can't divulge information about the hitman because it's an ongoing investigation. Okay. It sounds right, diba? Tama naman. If they have the information and then they give it, then, it's gonna put their ongoing investigation at risk. Think about it this way. kung talagang you want to impeach Sara Duterte and you have a smoking gun in your hand in the form of knowing who the hitman is, would you not put him behind the stands so he could tell the truth that yes, Sara Duterte hired me or asked me to kill Bongbong Marcos, the First Lady, and Martin Romualdez? I don't know of any lawyer who would hold back on that information if they know that if they put this information out there, it's a sure win. It's a knockout punch against Sara Duterte. Why can't he give out that information? Why do you think he keeps saying, or he kept saying, nah, it's an ongoing investigation po, so I don't want to divulge that information? It's simply because they don't have a hitman. They don't have anyone. They don't have names. They don't know who he is. And they are just trying to prolong this trial until they can find someone to say, oh, this is the hitman. Finally, we found him, right? He was saying it's going to take 3 to 6 months until we finally narrow down who this hitman is. It's an ongoing investigation. It's just a nice way to say, no, we don't have anyone. We don't have proof that there's actually a hitman. This are the kind of things that a regular Filipino might miss kasi they don't really understand, legal wordings and all. Pero I'm trying to make you understand. Pag sinabing ganon, it's still an ongoing investigation. I don't want to divulge the information. It can only mean one thing. They don't have anyone. Wala silang hitman, wala silang pangalan. They don't know who it is. So they can't put him behind the stands. Because simple lang yan. If truly they have the hitman, they know the name, who he is, they could subpoena him, sit him behind the stands, and have him tell the truth. That yes, Sara Duterte asked me to kill the president. Make sense? Now, my personal opinion, okay? Personal opinion ko ito. Don't quote me on this. For me, it's like this. Kung may crime of murder, they always say no body, no crime. Kung walang katawan, walang dead body, no crime. Kahit pa sabihin natin may suspect sila, ikaw yung suspect namin sa pagpatay. But if you cannot present the body, you cannot charge him with murder, right? Para sa akin, again, personal opinion, don't quote me on this, ganun din yun. Pag nagbigay si Sara ng threat against the president, yes, you could say you gave out the threat. Pero unless you can show us sino yung assassin, which by the way, Sara never said assassin. Ang prosecution ang gumamit ng word na yan. If the prosecution cannot show the hitman para sa threat ni Sara, then Sara should not be criminalized for what she said. Right? But again, that's just my personal opinion. So, ganito yon. Matibag kept saying, hindi ko po pwede ilabas yung information na yan kasi it's an ongoing investigation. It's gonna take us 3 to 6 months because they don't have anyone. They don't have the name. They don't know who the hitman is. They are just parang hoping to find someone eventually within those 3 to 6 month time frame and then present it to the senator judges as the hitman. Now let's go to the interventions of the senator judges. Rafi Tulfo asked if Matibag knew about yung tatlong Pilipino na inaresto sa Boracay for giving out a threat against the president. And the question was, bakit sila, when they gave out the threat, online lang, they were arrested right away. Why si Sara, when she gave out the threat, she wasn't arrested right away? What's the difference? Why is the law different for them and then different for Sara? Matibag wasn't able to answer that. Ang sa kanya lang is, di ko po pwedeng masagot yon kasi I wasn't there. That wasn't me. His typical answer is basically a useless witness. But think about it. Why do they arrest those three sa Boracay and not Sara? Because if they arrest Sara, Sara could pay bail and, it's just an arrest. And she could still run for office in 2028. Ang pinaka bagay na they're trying to do is to stop Sara from running in 2028 office. And if they just arrest her, she will still be able to run. the only way that they could stop Sarah from running in 2028 is if she's impeached. Then she cannot run for any office at all. So that's why hindi nila hinuli right away si Sarah when she gave out that threat. Kasi they want to put it under the impeachment court para ma-impeach. So she couldn't run, and BBM still holds the power. And then my final and favorite part of today's hearing, Senator Idol Bad Boy Robin Padilla. Like I told you in my previous video, I wasn't really very much impressed with him, but man, this past few days, he's been, ano ba? What's the right word? He just drops the right bombs, the good bombs. He drops the good bombs at the perfect timing, di ba? So he got up and asked Luistro about the discrepancies in Las Cañas' statement. He said noong October 3rd, 2016, the statement was Rudy Duterte was not part of any or has nothing to do with the threat, and then changed it on February 20, and then changed it again on the March 6th. So basically, the point is that his statements continues to change, yet the prosecution presented it during the hearing, and it wasn't even notarized, di ba? So nung tinanong ni Robin si Luistro about sa discrepancies ng mga statement ni Las Cañas, Luistro's answer was, I need to qualify my answer. I don't know what to say to this. Only in the Senate of the Philippines will you find a lawyer that cannot answer a question from a non-lawyer, an action star in the 90s. Only in the Senate of the Philippines will you find a lawyer that wants to impeach a vice president that couldn't answer a question from an action star, a non-lawyer. And then nung naipit na talaga tong si Luistro by the question of Robin, she just agreed na the statements were changing, therefore rendering their own presentation as unreliable and shouldn't be considered as an evidence in the impeachment court. Wow. After nun, akala ko tapos na. Done. Robin then drops another bomb. A really good bomb. The first two witnesses that the prosecution presented, remember Attorney Lotok and the other one, yung ang tawag nito, expert quote unquote daw sa cyber thing. Robin said they both have a standing perjury case. Ano yung perjury case? Pamemeke ng pirma. So basically, Robin was pointing out, prosecution, why we are trying to impeach the vice president, second highest office in the Philippines. And you're presenting witnesses that has perjury cases? What does that tell you? Itong mga tao na to na may perjury cases are in the habit of saying lies, telling lies just to, get through something. Basically, their statements are unreliable because they have perjury cases. So ngayon si Robin blanketed everything, every statement in the last 8 days with doubt. I don't know how the prosecution is going to rise from this. Like I said, I always tell you in my videos that I keep a level ground. Wala akong pinapanigan. If Sarah is proven to be guilty, then she's guilty. But man, this is terrible. This is so bad. A high school student could do better. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Other than, that's it. Senator Robin Padilla drops the best bombs at the best times. That's it. Only in the Senate of the Philippines will you find a lawyer that cannot answer a simple question from an action star. Now think about this. If Matibag is the director of NBI, we have Luistro in the Congress, we have all these people in high positions in the government, and this is how they perform. Our country is doomed. Oh man, we need better people, better leaders for this country. Train your kids. I'm telling you, train your kids so they can be leaders with integrity, and when they become, senators and lawyers, they won't be like Luis, or they won't be like Matibag, who boasts of his 29 years as a lawyer, but man, terrible. Anyways, that's it. That's all I can say about this. Be respectful in the comment. Let's discuss. Let's not argue. Okay? Kaya natin to. Let's be better Pinoys.